The Liverpool Reaction, an American LFC podcast, starts now. All right, everybody. Salim here. Going to be talking today about the Manchester City game. The result was a 3-0 win to Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium. Jeremy Lionel Messi Doku was on full display. I mean, he was unbelievable, stole the show. I think also you could say there was a little bit of bad luck that happened to Liverpool, but I think really at the end of the day, you got to say what's fair is fair, and Manchester City was the better team. But let's get into it. One of the first talking points was how Jeremy Doku on the left-hand side was terrorizing anybody and everybody, and specifically Connor Bradley after his beautiful performance against Vinny Jr. and Real Madrid midweek was a little shocking. But to be fair, Jeremy Doku is quick. He's definitely getting better since he's joined City. Today was probably his best game in a light blue shirt. And you got to tip your hat. He was excellent. He was just attacking at Bradley, going one-on-one. He's got this little shimmy move that he does that you'd think would be stoppable, but he's so quick in relatively small spaces that he can just kind of explode out of that little move very quickly. And he gave Connor Bradley all he could handle. Connor had some good moments against him, but generally speaking, Jeremy Doku on that left-hand side was really, really getting after Connor Bradley and the Liverpool defense. The PK was the first talking point, as I just stated. Jeremy Doku, again, on the left-hand side, kind of cuts inside, and Mamardashvili comes out, misses him with his foot, catches him slightly with his knee. He still was able to take a step, but he did hit the deck after VAR, and I guess intervened. They did say that it was a penalty. Not sure that it was, really. I think either way you could give it, you could not give it. But I think in those situations where it's so kind of touchy and maybe could go one way or another, whatever the call is made on the field, I think should stand. But I don't know, VAR and the English refs just in general, the inconsistency of it, probably more at the foot of the FA than it is the refs and the VAR system. It's just never consistent. It's never really clear. Regardless, Holland steps up. We're thinking for sure it's 1-0, and Mamardashvili saves it. In basketball, when somebody gets fouled or, it's not really a foul and they miss a free throw and people yell, "Ball don't lie." That's kind of what I was saying at the time. You got to remember, as a fan, when you're watching these games, it's pretty emotional and you're pretty fired up and excited. But not long after, this is kind of where things kind of went sideways, and you were kind of starting to suspect that although Mamardashvili saved the penalty kick, that this might not be our day, because Robo and Virgil in about the 28th minute kind of get swapped. Virgil came out to cover somebody on the left-hand side for Robertson, and Robertson kind of slid inside. And at some point during this passage of play, then they switch back, but the ball gets out to Matheus Nunes on the right-hand side, and Robertson does not close quick enough because him and Virgil are just switching back to their positions. So Nunes gets kind of a free reign open cross. So he crosses it, and Konate gets his head on it. But somehow, in jumping and kind of flicking it backwards, Holland's back there kind of heading forwards. So it hits off Konate's head, then it hits off of Holland's head, and it goes perfectly in the corner. Now, to be fair, if Konate didn't get his head on it, Holland was going to that side anyway. It just was a freak kind of way that it deflected off him and scored. So 1-0 to City. At the time you're thinking, okay, it's probably deserved, but man, that was unlucky. Well, the bad luck continues. Again, I want to be clear, this is not the reason why Liverpool lost, but was just kind of a theme that it wasn't going to be our day today. And Virgil equalizes. I think it was like 42nd minute or something like that, 43rd minute, not far after. And off a corner kick, laser header to the corner. Donnarumma stuck, could not do anything but watch it, kind of like Mamardashvili on the Kanate / Erling Haaland header. And it was in the corner, and then all of a sudden it's quiet and there's an offside call. Robertson was coming back and he ducked to get out of the way, but they said offsides. Now, again, this is why I'm very unclear on these things. They're saying, the rules sometimes says something along the lines like it has to impede the shot, has to be like impede the goalie. I mean, Robertson was nowhere near the goalie. I mean, he was just coming back, and the header was kind of going towards him, but he ducked out of the way, and Donnarumma was stuck. I mean, he wasn't saving that regardless if Robertson was there or not. Now, I don't know exactly how they determine those rules nowadays. Again, the inconsistency of it, you can see that another time and it'll be considered a goal. So regardless, okay, I'm thinking, okay, we'll go into the break 1-0. It would have been nice to get that goal 1-1, kind of get everybody fired up, but that was not the case. Second stroke of bad luck. Nico Gonzalez, after Man City kind of has the ball for a minute, Nico Gonzalez gets the ball maybe 20 yards out. Nobody closes him, to be fair, and he takes a shot. And Virgil kind of sticks his leg out, and it just deflects off his leg and goes in. So 2-0 going into halftime versus 1-1 or potentially 2-1 if you want to consider that. So that was kind of bad luck too. But however, again, City overall deserved a win. Now, the man of the match, Jeremy Lionel Messi Doku, in the 63rd minute, put the game to bed. Beautiful shot to the far corner. Well-deserved goal. That goal, you can't say anything about it. Jeremy Doku was the best player, like I said. The goal was fantastic. So it's 3-0. And as a Liverpool fan, it's kind of hard to kind of watch the last 20 minutes as, last 25, 27 minutes, whatever it is. And, you're just hoping for something. And it just never came. For me, football had started and the NFL had started, and I was kind of watching it a little bit on my phone while kind of keeping an eye on the Liverpool game as well, and just ended 3-0. And now implications as far as the standings go, Liverpool is now 8th. Manchester City is 2nd. Another reason this game was super important was because yesterday Arsenal drew to Sunderland and easily could have lost that game. But, I think Arsenal this year with their depth, although I'm not fully convinced that they're going to win. Coach definitely thinks they're the favorites, and probably everybody thinks they're the favorites, but they tied. So this game was pretty massive. And now Manchester City is 4 points behind them, and we are 8 points behind them. So we didn't gain any ground. Although 8th place and 3rd place are 2 points apart. So not the end of the world for sure as far as the standings go. Now we go into an international break, and the team, has a lot of internationals, like a lot of the big teams in the top 6 in England do, and everybody will go to their country and go play in friendlies or World Cup qualifiers. I'm not actually sure. I don't like international week because I like watching the Premier League every week, and next weekend is just the NFL for me, I guess. But as we kind of look at the stats, pretty alarming. 1 shot on goal, 7 shot attempts, 4 yellow cards, 7 corner kicks for Liverpool. 6 shots on goal, 14 shots attempt, 2 yellow cards, 7 corner kicks. So Possession was almost 50-50, a slight advantage to Liverpool. But really, this was it's kind of where the season's been, right? After the Aston Villa game and the Madrid game, you thought, okay, we've kind of found something here. And it just they were slow today. They were not in it. They were not encouraged. They were not passionate about the game today. And sometimes that happens as players. And then you get a kind of weird goals and things kind of going against you. It can be tough as a player to kind of continue pushing forward. And I know some people say, well, they get paid millions to do that. But, at the end of the day, they are human. And this was just one of those games, one of those results. I'm not as fired up about this game as some of the ones we lost when we went on that little mini losing streak, which is tough to watch. But I think realistically, resetting the expectations for this team, top four, I think should be the target. Ensure Champions League next year, ensure that the revenue still is up so we can get players if we need them. And, as you kind of look at the player ratings, nobody was really that good. Szoboszlai has been, very, very good and has been, the best player of the team. You can definitely see captain in the future for him, especially when VVD and VVD moves along. You can definitely see, and Robertson as vice captain, you can see how Szoboszlai could be the captain. He's the captain of his country, but even he wasn't that great today. And, at the end of the day, these things happen. Games like this do happen. Do City deserve it? Yes. Is the 3-0 scoreline deserve it? You might say maybe, but the luck factor on those two goals at the beginning in the first half were really tough to kind of get past. And that's the way it goes. Now, the international break is a good time to just take a breath, spend some time with our families, not get too crazy about Liverpool and what's coming next. But as we look ahead, there is going to be some games that are going to come along here that aren't going to be as difficult from a standpoint that they are not. Oh, hold on. I'm trying to pull up the Liverpool the schedule here. Here we go. Where did we go? Soccer. Here we are. Premier League. All right. So the fixtures moving forward. No. Will be. Where the heck is it? English Premier League. No data available. Okay, that's International Week next week. And then here we go. All right. So Saturday, November 22nd. Okay. So now Liverpool, like I said, there's an easier run of games that are going to be coming to them. They've had a pretty tough start as far as the opponents they've had. Crystal Palace is no joke. Arsenal, City, Newcastle, and now we have we're hosting Nottingham Forest. Not that no disrespect to Nottingham Forest, but Liverpool, should have a good game against them. But it's Nottingham Forest. Then I should have this prepared a little bit better, but here we are. After that, Liverpool play West Ham. And I'm going to do this on my phone because it'll be a little bit easier to track here. ESPN. I like how you can just kind of favorite your team and it gives you everything you need here. So, yeah, Nottingham Forest, then a game, Champions League game versus PSV. Both those games are at Anfield, and then an away game to West Ham. So that's the remaining schedule for Liverpool. So, 2 wins, 1 loss. Okay, not great, but not bad. Considering you got to understand this team is definitely in transition. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Salah is definitely not the same Salah. Nico O'Reilly, didn't get. I don't think he got by him once, and there's something going on with Salah that I think people are kind of looking at him from a standpoint of he's out of form, but I think realistically he has lost a step. And in sports, these things happen overnight. I mean, really, at the end of the year last year, Coach talks about it constantly about at the end of the year last year, there was something off about his game. And, we had already won. So we were kind of looking at everything, rose colored glasses. And I think realistically that, Salah's best days are far behind him. And the half step that he lost might be a full step. So he was caught off sides a bunch of times today. You could tell he was trying to kind of get his momentum going. And that's just not who he is. And listen, when we look back on Salah's career, once his career is over at Liverpool, we've nothing but great things to say. And it's tough. It's really tough to kind of bash, a legend. But AFCON is going to really tell a lot about this team and operating without him. And I'm kind of excited to see it. And I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but I am excited to see what the team's going to look like without him because he just hasn't been himself. He hasn't been very good. He had one opportunity there at the end to kind of he got on a ball late in the game and kind of chipped on Aruma and it went wide. And I don't know, it's kind of a microcosm of really what's happening with him at Liverpool. I think that it's might be his last year, and it might be okay. We might have to be okay with that, or he might have to come off the bench at some point. And it sounds crazy, right? I mean, considering what he did last year, but again, we got to move forward, and we got to figure this out. And Slot's got to figure it out, and there's no way that he doesn't see what we're seeing with Salah. And be interesting to see how you do that. Who you put there. Verts has his moments on the left, kind of, but coming in and playing it like a 10, like an inverted left fullback would, but he's on the forward line to try to get in the half spaces that are beyond the midfield, because I think in the midfield they were kind of getting in each other's way. Him, Maka, Sabasli, they were just kind of always getting in each other's way. And I think Verts, we all know, we all see that there is a player there for sure. We paid a lot of money for him. He was player of the year of the Bundesliga, 2 years in a row. He's only 22. But the simple stuff of getting muscled off the ball and those kinds of things, he's going to have to hit the weight room over the summer, but he's going to be at the World Cup. So we'll see how that's going to go. But on the right, Jeremy Doku, not Jeremy Doku, Jeremy Frimpong, is a potential, but he's been dinged up. And I'm just curious what we're going to do there. Do we move Verts there and or do we just play a 4-4-2? I think that would make sense too. We have seen one time where Ekitike and Isak played together. Now, from a standpoint of longevity and the amount of games that Liverpool plays, that's probably not going to be a way we can do week after week after week. But I think the midfield has to stay Maka, has to stay Gravenberch, has to stay Sabasli. And then if you want to just kind of throw Verts in there with the two forwards in front of him where he can kind of roam, it makes sense, right? And that would make sense to do that when Salah's at AFCON and try it out. But there's it's tough. It's really tough to just kind of understand kind of what's happening, right? When you look at it from a standpoint of the team won last year. They added some fantastic players, but nothing's gelled. And I think really, now that we're kind of hitting an easier part of our schedule, not saying that we're going to beat these teams or blow by them. I think it's going to be a nice, better idea of how Slot can actually put the pieces together try different things. The 4-4-2, for example, I think would be something that would work out well, but we'll find out, and we'll see how it goes. December's another busy, busy month. But the games are, again, from a standpoint of competition to what we faced at the beginning, pretty good. So Sunderland, then Leeds, then Inter Milan. Now Liverpool and Brighton play on December 13th. Liverpool Spurs the 20th, and then the 27th Wolves. So you kind of look at this run of games and you're thinking, if we can win the majority of them, especially in the Premier League, you could see a good run happening here. And the fact that things are so kind of condensed in that top end of the field, minus Arsenal having a 4-point lead on everybody, that this is going to be okay. We're going to be all right. And we'll just have to support the boys. We support our team through thick and thin. We've had some dark days in the past, and with ownership issues and things like that. We have a stable ownership. The stadium's not going anywhere, and I see other teams ripping down their legendary stadiums, and I feel awful because those stadiums are part of the allure of the clubs, and Anfield will always be that, and the fans and the singing and the chanting, and everybody says how opponents say how Liverpool, playing in Liverpool at Anfield, is a cauldron. It is not easy place to play, so having that home field advantage is awesome, and we're just going to have to lean in on that and see how the results continue to grow, and we'll go from there. Well, anyway, I really appreciate everybody listening to Coach and I talk about Liverpool and how the team is doing and the results and the tactics behind it. We're going to do these continuously, and we thank you for watching. Just a quick note: if you are looking to catch this on podcast, we are scrapping the podcast version of this, so this will be on YouTube only moving forward. Scrapped it about a week ago, and I forgot to mention it, but just wanted to mention it now. So anyway, we'll see you next time. International break, and then back to it. All right, take care, everybody. Well, if I find okay, here we go. Coach and I want to take a second to thank everybody for watching on YouTube, or whether you're listening via podcast. Please subscribe or follow the show wherever you consume your content. We are looking forward to continuing to bring you the best Liverpool content out there. We'll see you next time.